We've been keeping an eye on the situation in Ukraine, trying to track how much involvement there is from Russia. MP Ted Opitz is just back from Ukraine. Welcome.
Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
You're personally banned in Russia,
I am.
or out of Russia, however you say it?
Myself and 12 other Canadians.
Okay. Canadian politicians?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Because of your support for Ukraine?
Well, yes, we've been outspoken, and as you know, our government, our Prime Minister in particular, in the G7 and around the world, has been highly outspoken on Ukraine. What Russia has done, what Mr. Putin has done, has violated all international laws by invading Crimea, by violating the Budapest Memorandum, which you'll recall guaranteed Ukraine's borders in exchange for their nuclear weapons, which right. Ukraine, in good faith, did. And clearly Russia, in bad faith, just recently, of course, invaded Ukraine through a surreptitious, slow-motion kind of invasion. And now they're attempting to do the same in the east of Ukraine.
Is it a disappointment to you that you can't go to Russia, or a badge of honor?
Badge of honor.
All right.
Big
now,
one.
What was the trade mission all about?
Well, the trade mission is all about exploring opportunities that both Ukraine and Canada can focus on and work together in developing. As you know, Ukraine is a priority country for us right now in terms of it developing its global capacity to do business, and in social and democratic foundations, our Prime Minister was very clear that he wants to be able to assist Ukraine develop its freedom, democracy, human rights, rule of law, judicial systems, and be able to allow them to move forward as a fully democratic country should. And so this trade mission, led by the Honourable Ed Fast, who's our International Trade Minister, was a very comprehensive one, designed to look at various strategic sectors. Like he met with his counterpart from the Minister of the Economy. We talked about economy broadly. We talked about education, mining, energy sectors, and other key sectors, and underlined the fact that Canada is a very supportive and strategic partner for Ukraine.
Well, two things then. How big a trading partner are they for us, and how much can they do sort of trading business as per usual under this current circumstance?
Well, it's difficult to trade under this current circumstance. The previous figure bilaterally between us and Ukraine is about 322 million. But that's,
so it's not huge.
No, it's not huge, and it can be a lot better. You know, you're going to understand Ukraine. Ukraine is a very large country. It has tremendous capacity all on its own. It has the natural resources it needs. It has a credible capacity to grow food. Used to be Europe's breadbasket, as you know. They have shale gas. They have oil deposits. They have mineral deposits. They have heavy industry there. And by the way, their science and tech has generally been very good. We visited Antonov facilities where they make both cargo and passenger planes, and you'll be familiar with the huge, the world's largest cargo plane, which is an Antonov, oftentimes flying to Canada and picking up tractors and that sort of thing. So, and they partner with Canadian companies like Pratt & Whitney and others. So we also explored the aerospace field to see what options and what abilities we would have to cooperate in the aerospace field.
What can or should Canada do, if anything, beyond what we're doing now, which is mostly moral support for Ukraine?
Oh, it's a lot more than moral support. You know, Prime Minister Harper has been most outspoken on the world stage. He has directly addressed the G7 and addressed the threat that President Putin poses. NATO is very well aware. I was at a NATO conference and very well aware of the fact that he has destabilized the world global order. We didn't have to be in the position we're in right now. Vladimir Putin broke international laws and got us in. Our Prime Minister has been exceptionally clear. Our Foreign Minister, John Baird, has gone there on a couple of occasions. Our Prime Minister was the first G7 leader in after Yanukovych fled, and he was there having a bilateral discussion with President Poroshenko outside of Ukraine and certainly after his inauguration. So we've been exceptionally supportive. We've also given over $250 million. A lot of that going to the IMF funding, and 20 or 30 million of that going to technical funding that's going to enable them to structure their financial systems to be able to accommodate the change in economy and finances. And also, of course, Ed Fast announced $19.2 million over the next 7 years to help horticultural farmers develop techniques, processes, and and farming techniques to be able to expand their capacity in that field as well.
It's a horrible situation in Ukraine. Outside Ukraine, to the rest of the world, is Putin a bother or a danger?
He's a danger. He's a danger to global stability. We had hoped, we being globally the world, had hoped that Russia had been on side with the West, that we were integrating our economies, that we were all moving forward to a democratic and peaceful future. And clearly what he has done by invading Ukraine and Crimea in particular with his little green men, these are Russian soldiers that without patches and insignia, and right. Also being right now in eastern Ukraine. These are people that are these Kremlin-led insurgents, or people that are led by Russian special forces, Russian military intelligence in the background. They are having transported to them Russian weapons. The aircraft that have been shot down by Russian weapons don't exist in the Ukrainian inventory. They have been brought across the border. This is clearly Kremlin-backed. A lot of them are Chechen mercenaries and other disaffected people. So I call them terrorists, not insurgents at all.
Well, I think that history has probably shown us that any leader of one country who ventures outside his border to take over other countries is never satisfied with one.
Absolutely not. We've got sanctions on more than 100 individuals associated with the Kremlin and in Ukraine, associated with the troubles there. And we're of course have economic sanctions on a couple of banks. And so what's happening there is Russia is starting to slip into a recession. This is going to be very, very costly for Mr. Putin in the long run. It costs a lot of money to deploy troops. It costs a lot of money to invade Crimea. It's going to cost a lot of money to sustain that change.
But he has the support of the Russian people, I think.
I think that's falling, you'll see. But why does he have the support? When you only have one media outlet telling you what the news is, it's pretty hard to have some diverse views from different media outlets like we have in Canada, the United States, or any other Western country. I mean, there's a variety of views that people can select, look at, and decide on their own. They don't have that option. In fact, the Russian people are just as victimized as the Ukrainian people are in terms of what's happening. In fact, Russian media at one point used images from Lac Megantic.
Yes, that's
and
right.
said that was in Luhansk.
Yeah.
They've used images from Syria. They've used images still from a movie to say that this was in Ukraine. This is entirely misleading. This is propaganda in the worst sense of that word, and that it's being perpetrated by the Kremlin.
Well, certainly you know as a Canadian politician that if you come forth with any kind of statement, there will be somebody in the media there to counter you, and I guess that's not the experience of the Russian person.
No, it's not their experience, and although they're very polished and they try to make it look like a news organization, you'll find that American hosts, I can't remember her name, but one recently resigned on air in protest for what misleading information that the outlet was putting on, and of course there was another one that also expressed her concern about editorial control. So that's starting to crack, and I think you're going to find that at the leading edges of this, Russian public opinion was high, but I think you're going to start to see it fall, especially as the economy in Russia starts to falter and fall deeper into recession. Because Vladimir Putin has been irresponsible and he has broken international laws, and in fact is somebody that's no longer a member of the G8. He's had to surrender that because he's no longer worthy to be a member of that organization. And I'm proud to say that our Prime Minister championed that cause. And this is something that I think Canada is going to stand firmly shoulder to shoulder with the Ukrainian people. We're going to stand with them. We're going to support them. And we're not only going to support them morally, we're going to try to support them through initiatives like a free trade agreement. We're going to look at the opportunities that we have together and explore those and try to find areas that we can work together in. I think they were very, very good discussions. And going forward, I would expect that our various representatives negotiating the deal will probably find some good opportunities ahead.
Appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much.